Hi and welcome along to AGB Extra. This is where we do the podcast, but it's a little bit of an extra one. And of course, today, there can only be one thing that we're focusing upon, and that is Arsenal's game against Benfica. Beat Benfica or bust. The podcast featuring DT, welcome along DT, brought to you today by Manscaped, right? Don't forget, Manscaped, they've got some great items. DT, look, they got this now. A brand new aftershave, right? And I tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, it smells nice. I like it, man. I've been using it.
Oh, it's the actual aftershave?
Yeah. It's not even after, it's cologne. It's cologne. I
thought that was aftershave for your private parts.
No. That would sting you.
I'm so glad it ain't, and you started giving a demonstration.
No. This is actually like a cologne that they brought out, and it's really nice. So I got one for you, yeah. So I'll get it for you. Guess who? Right? They sent them to the office. Guess who nicked one out? Ty.
Straight away.
I think ever since that video, the date with Yasmin, he's been trying to.
Mate.
He's changed, mate. He nicked one. I go, yo, where you going with that? He goes, no. I go, where you going to use that? Ever since, so he's trying to sweet himself up for Yasmin now. But big up to Manscaped. You can get 20% off this cologne, and all their other items. All you got to use is the code AGB. Yeah, AGB. The link is in the description. Use that code, and you can get yourself 20% off. DT, welcome along. There's only one thing we can talk about today. It's Benfica win or bust for the season. If we lose that game on Thursday, that's it. Season's over, isn't it?
Yep, it is. To put it bluntly, it is win or bust. And
it's Mikel Arteta's biggest game of his career, apart from the FA Cup. This is the next biggest game.
Do you know what? I think it's bigger than the FA Cup because at the time of playing the FA Cup, Mikel was under no pressure. We would have been disappointed losing the final, but in the grand scheme of things, we would have looked at it and gone, what great progress under a new manager. What a great start. It can only mean we're going upwards, so winning it was a bigger bonus. And the factors why this is bigger is because where we are in the Premier League. We don't have that avenue to fall back on. We're not sitting there going, you know what, it's disappointing, but we can still get into the top four. We're in a great position at the moment, etc., etc. We can't do that. So it does mean it's win or bust. And we don't have the FA Cup as a little carrot to dangle on the side, shall we say. This literally is everything. And given the pressure that he's under, the players are under, the club in general, given the season we've had, is huge. And we went out at this same stage last season.
And I can't forget that.
No.
That was horrible, man. I mean, Olympia, and this game kind of reminds me of the whole thing. I'm being, and that's why I'm a bit scared about this game, because it's almost like after last year, that Olympiacos game, when again we went in with an even bigger advantage than this.
Yeah.
Remember, we won in Athens.
Yeah.
And ended up going out, and now we got to go back to the same city, Athens again. I don't even know that's where we actually did win the game.
Yeah. The irony,
man. And I'm a little worried, man, because this is a must-win game. We've got to win this.
You know what what I'm hoping by the end of the game on Thursday is that we're not ruining the first leg and the chances missed, because when you refer to the Olympiacos game, the miss by Aubameyang with the last kick of the game, that ultimately is the reason why we went out. Yes, we conceded 2 goals at home, and there was calamitous circumstances as to why we conceded those goals, but that miss, and if we're sitting here talking on the the normal podcast on Friday, Saturday, whenever we record it, and we're saying we're out, season's over, you're going to look back at those misses in the first leg, because we should, Robbie, be sitting here right now saying, you know what, maybe make a few changes for this game. Maybe give a couple of players an opportunity. Maybe this is a game where Matt Ryan could even play in goal, because we've got such a good advantage. We're 4-1 ahead or whatever it might be from the first leg. We've got that cushion, but we haven't. And it's actually it's a worse situation than Olympiacos, because it's 1-1.
Yeah, we do have an away goal. So we do have one away goal. That means effectively, if Arsenal keep a clean sheet, they're through.
Yeah.
So that's one advantage, but they have to keep a clean sheet. And the way in which we've seen some of the sloppy defending recently, I mean, we haven't, teams recently have not even had to earn their goals. So we saw it on Sunday, Manchester City, sloppy defending goal. We saw it against Benfica last week.
Yeah.
Sloppy, Smith Rowe, armed race, sloppy, really. You can say he's unlucky, but then on the other hand, you can look on it and say, bro, what are you doing raising your hand up like that? You're giving the referee a decision to make. That's sloppy.
But you go even before the penalty, Robbie, when we didn't clear our lines and gave away the corner, which is where it ultimately resulted from. In the last month or so, the only goal I can genuinely think of where you can stand there and just tip your hat and go, fair play, Wolves' second goal.
Wolves' second goal.
That is it.
Right?
Everything else has been given away. Aston Villa, Cedric, awful pass and caught us out. It's just been poor. The Man City goal at the weekend, poor. Teams are not opening us up, and you're having to hold your hands up and go, boy, I would rather Man City, this might sound weird, but I would rather have Man City have won that game on Sunday by a couple of goals and they completely pulled us apart, because at least you could sit there and go, what can you do about that? That's just unbelievable. What amazing play. They're the best team in the country right now. How can you live with that? But you sit there, look at the result, and you have so many regrets, because you go, what kind of goal is that? Why did you start so slow? Why could you not actually defend like you did for the, remaining 70 minutes of the match, for the first 20 minutes of the match? So many questions unanswered, which are so frustrating for us this season. So it's a huge, huge game. But I'll tell you something, I genuinely believe this result rests on one player in particular, Thomas Partey. Partey.
But will he be fit?
He's in full training. And I just feel that with Benfica, the high line, the way they play, he is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Danny Ceballos and Granit Xhaka are not players that take a touch, ping a pass. They don't. When Partey's played, you think the first minute against Wolves, normally the first minute in a game, you're trying to get a feel of the ball, have a little pass round, get a bit of possession. Partey's got the ball in the centre of the park, touch, ping, straight over the top, Saka's through, hits the post. Could be 1-0 up inside 40 seconds. That's what Thomas Partey can do. The goal against Newcastle that Aubameyang scored, the first goal. Partey gets the ball in the middle, ping outside of his foot, lays it into him straight away. It's instant. You don't give time to defences to regroup. That was the problem in the first leg. We were so slow that Benfica would just go in, all right, let's just kind of sit back. All right, we're back in our shape now. Good luck, break us down. And we had no creativity to break them down. So releasing the ball instantly is crucial. And Thomas Partey, for me, is the only midfielder we've got that can actually do that. The only other player in the team that can spring a pass quick is probably David Luiz. That's it.
And the thing is about it in that game, at the weekend, you saw with Granit Xhaka, with El Neni, they're not forward-thinking midfielders. They're defensive midfielders. They're never looking to get the ball forward. So Partey, I mean, if he could return,
that'd be huge.
I mean, that would be such a bonus to the Arsenal team. Tierney, of course, hopefully he'll be fit for that game, so there's no sort of setbacks or anything. I mean, maybe let's actually, but just before we take a look at what team it should be, let's look at Benfica. They didn't offer anything last week, did they? They didn't look like they could score in a million years until we let them in the game with a penalty. It was completely against the run of play. They were the home team in that game. They didn't really offer anything to suggest, but you always have to remember that they're a team with European pedigree. A bit like Olympiacos last year. You can say that Olympiacos, they ain't all that whatever, but they're a team of European pedigree. They play in Europe all the time. They have individual players that are good.
Yeah.
Benfica, I mean, I remember doing a preview with the Benfica guys, and they spoke about how this is the most they've ever invested in a squad. And that's why their fans have been so disappointed this season, because, players like that Everton who was playing up front, and they haven't delivered. But there's still players with the potential to deliver if we don't get it right. And, even though we've got that away goal, if they wipe that out, then the advantage is with them, because if they then get another one after that, it counts double. That's what Olympiacos did to us. That away goal counts double. That's what we could have done with getting at least 2. So we've got a slim advantage, but we've got to defend well, and we got to look after some of their dangerous players, because if say we did score 2, say we did score another goal, we went 1-0 up in the game. They know that they have to score 2 goals. That's going to change their mindset. They'll come. We're going to have to defend well. We're going to have to play well. But we can see that it's a team we can beat, but we cannot write them off. They're a Champions League team. That's where they normally are. They're not normally even, this is not normally their competition. They're normally in the Champions League. All right, they don't do nothing in it, but they're used to being in it, and they're used to beating teams of a high caliber.
You know what? I watched their game at the weekend. I was doing a bit of scouting mission. And, it was probably the worst thing I ever done, because it was 0-0. And it was like, oh my God.
Who did they play? Who did they play at the weekend?
I can't even pronounce the name. It wasn't one of the Portuguese teams that you're gonna realize, like Porto and whatnot. But it was a poor game, and I do think that they had this game in mind, because I feel that, like us, they're in the same situation where it's kind of win or bust. Where if they want to get back in the Champions League, they've got to try and win the Europa League. They're 4th in their domestic league. They're a million miles away from Sporting and everybody else. So it's kind of the same scenario. And the advantage they do have is that if they do have to go for it, they know that everything's kind of double bubble. You score 1, we need 2. You score 2, we need 3. So everything becomes an advantage in their favor. But what I don't want us to do is change the way that we play, in a sense that we get a goal, for example, go 1-0 up. We sit back and say, okay, we got a goal, let's try and defend it. I feel the best form, tactically in this game, is to attack, because I feel that they're vulnerable. And that we could, if we really, really step up to a level, could easily score 3-4 goals against this team. Yeah, I genuinely believe that. So I feel the best way of approaching this game is by attacking. Don't score a goal and then invite pressure, because I just genuinely don't know whether we've got the capabilities of soaking that kind of pressure for that period of time, and whether the nerves kick in. And I don't want to be going into the last 15 minutes of the game where you feel like you're hanging on. And then if they do score, you've got no way of turning it around. You've got no, you know what I mean? So attack.
Couple goals in this game, I think, does it for us. I can't see Benfica. Well,
careful.
Based off of what I saw, but I know, based off what I saw last week, I'd be surprised if they got, they're not going to be a free scoring, but they are more than capable of scoring.
Yeah.
But it just didn't look like that team that will score loads of goals, did they?
No. You know what the thing is that Benfica were very disciplined in the way that they defended in the first leg. Yeah. They got everybody behind the ball, and I think a lot of that's down to that we allowed them as well. We were too slow. the fact that they changed their normal back four to a 3 said that they were worried about us and that they were trying to nullify our pace. Because I watched your interview with the Benfica guys and their supporters, and they said the one thing that they were worried about was the pace. You know, and Aubameyang in particular. And
they played with a 5 really, and it wasn't even a 3. It was
it was. And you know, they had the new guy that was making his debut. You had the 2 Otamendi and Vertonghen, and they were, when they were attacking, they were just sitting as a 3, but they were very quickly into a 5 with a 4 in front of that 5 when they were defending, and we allowed that to happen because we were too slow in the way that we built our play. The one time we had a bit of energy and a bit of directness about our play, we scored. Flicked a switch, and then instantly we scored, and we went back into our shell, as though got an away goal, that'll do, let's go home. Got a big game on Sunday. Not that it mattered because you may well has not turned up, but it was. Mine's always just seemed to be on other things. What I don't want is Thursday, mine to be on Leicester on Sunday. I don't want people to go, well, we've got to think of that. And the same with the fans.
Did you hear what I said at the start of the show? Lose this game, the season's over. There's no point in thinking about Leicester.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we're just going to be playing for pride till the end of the season.
This is fans as well. I don't want people to go, well, we've got to think about Leicester on Sunday. Listen, I don't care about Leicester on Sunday. I care about Thursday and Benfica. If everybody is fit and available, I want the strongest team we can possibly go with. I don't want this, but Tierney played 90 minutes against Man City. Is it a gamble? Or
this is the game.
I don't care.
Let's do the starting lineup. So obviously Leno in goal. That's obvious.
Yeah. Unless you're tired, and then you put Matt Ryan in.
Right back.
Cedric. 100 million%. I'm praying that the reason why Cedric did not play on Sunday was because he was being rested for Thursday. That's what I'm praying for. He was being rested. Please.
All right. Left back.
Kieran Tierney.
Right. Centre halves.
Gabriel, David Luiz. And I do feel that they were rested with Thursday in mind.
Right. I've done the wrong formation here. Right. Midfield.
Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka.
Doing it on the app, by the way. So,
nice.
You can get this on the app, right?
It would help if you realised where your camera was and you started putting it.
AFTV VIP, you can get it on there, right? So, Thomas Partey.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka.
Again, say your prayers that Partey's fit. Right, and then the 3 in front. This is interesting.
Saka on the right.
What?
Emil Smith-Rowe in the 10.
Oh, wait a minute. So Saka you want on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe in the 10?
Yeah.
Not Odegaard.
No, he's played a lot of games, and I just feel that, we've got to rotate accordingly. I thought he had a really good game in the first leg, but he's not getting found enough by our players. But I'm just kind of trying to look at where Mikel might go with the fact that Emil was sub on Sunday, only had 10, 15 minutes, and Odegaard. It's a toss-up between the two. What I do hope, what I hope does not happen, is that Odegaard plays in the 10 and Emil Smith-Rowe on the left. For me, that didn't work against Benfica. Don't try it again. So Emil Smith-Rowe in the 10.
All right, who's on the left? This is interesting.
Pepe.
And who's got front?
Lacazette.
Oh. Okay.
I feel
no Aubameyang.
I feel that with the pace, with the way that Benfica set up, with the 3 at the back going into a 5, we're going to need somebody up front that can bring others into play, hold the ball. And you've got to be able to find those little pockets. And when the ball goes into that player, it sticks. The one thing it's not been doing with Aubameyang is sticking.
Okay, so you've gone Leno, Cedric right back, Luis, Gabriel, Tierney, a midfield of Partey if he's fit, obviously, and Xhaka. What if he's not fit? Tobias?
Yeah, Tobias,
All right.
not El Neni.
Right, Saka, Smith Rowe, Pepe, and Lacazette up front. Okay, my team's a bit different to yours.
Do you know why? Do you know why I've gone with that as well, right? And I want to explain this just briefly, but when we were playing really well, Aubameyang wasn't in the team at that time because obviously he had his issues and he had to be, you know, elsewhere and priorities and everything. But I just feel that at the moment he's still not fitting into the system in the way that we want to play. And I feel that Lacazette is better suited as the striker because if you want to get the best from Pepe and an Emil Smith-Rowe, you need somebody that the ball can stick with and he can bring those three behind him into play. There's no use putting the ball into your striker and having Pepe, Saka, and Smith-Rowe running off them if the ball's bouncing off them, because there's no point. But what Lacazette does bring is that when that ball comes in, it will stick, and Smith-Rowe will pull in behind, Saka will go off, Pepe will go off. I want Pepe back onto the side that he was causing so many problems with 2-3 weeks ago. We were all sitting there. A month ago, we were saying, Pepe's not doing enough to get in the team. You've got to step up. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. He came in, he stepped up. Now we're sitting there saying, why ain't he in the team? So,
all right, let me give you. I'm going to give you my team, right? So okay. I agree with you. Obviously, Leno's in goal. I agree with you on Cedric as well. The complete back four, I agree with you. I agree Cedric for Bellerin. I think he's played poorly in the last few games. And I just feel that Cedric offers a better balance playing on that right-hand side. Cedric as well, ex-Sporting Lisbon player, will be driven in this game. Portuguese. David Luiz has to play again, used to play for Benfica, knows the team. But Gabriel, definitely. Tierney, 100% Tierney has to come back in. I agree with you. If Partey's fit, it's a no-brainer. He starts. If not, Tobias. But if Partey's fit, he starts. Granit Xhaka. Now, I change a bit from you here now. I go Saka on the right. I agree with that. I would bring Smith-Rowe as well. Emil Smith-Rowe back into that number 10. Have Odegaard in reserve, possibly, if he's not working with Smith-Rowe. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go for Aubameyang, right? I'm going to restore him back to that left-hand side, even though he missed that easy chance last week, even though he was very ineffective against Manchester City. He still, for me, is a big-time player. If a chance falls, and it sounds stupid to say it because we saw the chance fall to him in the first game against Benfica, but I would still rather hit fall to him than anybody else. He still has more potential to score than anybody else. And up front, I'd have Lacazette. He starts for me. You're right in this game. I agreed with the first when they played that team last week, and when I heard those guys from Benfica talking about the high line, I agreed that put Aubameyang down the middle, exploit that high line. As you said, they sat a lot. They were still quite high, but they had that 3-5 at the back, and they were a bit deeper, especially in the second half. So Lacazette's hold-up play would be good. And Lacazette's fresh as a daisy. He's hardly played any games in the last couple of games. He's going to be chomping at the bit. And Lacazette will work back and help out the midfield as well. Right? So my only really change from your team is I would leave Pepe out. Pepe as well was very ineffective in the game against City, and a lot of that was to do with he didn't get great service, and a lot of that was to do is I don't know why we put him on the right all of a sudden when he's been doing well down the left. And I guess, you know, it'd be very unlucky to leave him out, but for me, you want goals. If you got Lacazette and Aubameyang and Saka on the pitch, that's 3 potential goal scorers. We don't score goals from midfield. We need as many goal scorers on the pitch as possible. I know Pepe's a goal scorer as well, but I'd go with those three. That would be me. So that would be the only way I differ from your team. But yeah, either of those teams are strong. Either of those teams are strong enough to win that game, man. And I just think those guys in defence critical, and they defended quite well. Apart from the handball, what else did really Benfica didn't really trouble us?
No, nothing at all. And you know, we've said this. I think it's going to be a different game because you haven't got that cushion of a second game where you can right the wrong, so to speak. And if we take the lead in that game, and then it opens things up, and I feel it should play into our hands because Benfica
that's why
they know they have to score anyway.
That's why I agree with you. I agree with you when you say about being on the front foot because they have to score just to level it up. Remember, right? They have to. Well, no, sorry, not to level it up. If they score, yes, advantage them. If we then scored, it was 1-1. It would be because both teams would have had an away goal. It'd be extra time. If Arsenal score first, they still know they're going to have to score. Then they're going to have to score 2. Yeah,
Benfica know. They know that the only way they can progress is if they score a goal.
Yeah, they have to score at some stage.
So if we go 1-0 up in the first 20 minutes, they know they've got to come out. Yeah. Will they come out straight away or will they wait for a big push in the final 20? Don't know. But if it's 0-0 until the final 20, you know they're going to come and attack.
Yeah.
At some point in this game, Benfica are going to go for us. And they have to.
I'd be looking at it and I'd be saying as Mikel Arteta, let's try and get 2 goals. Let's try and get 2 goals up in this game, right? Because that's when Benfica now have a serious problem. If we've got an away goal plus we're winning, say 2-0 in the game, Benfica know now they really have to go for it. Yeah. At 1-0, Benfica still just know that all they got to do is equalise. And it's going to extra time and stuff like that. But if you get 2 goals, they know that you know what, we really got to go for it now. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We have to get 2 goals too. Like it's gonna be one of those nights, DT, man. It's gonna be my god, man.
Mate,
do you know I'm nervous already.
You know what the thing is, is I'm gutted in a way because like obviously, it should be a home leg if we was in the stadium, if life was normal. I genuinely think the fans inside the Emirates could have been a big lift for the players.
What, like last year?
No, but you say that, Robbie, but it's...
last year against Olympiacos, they were there.
But we should have won the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Aubameyang missed that chance. Remember he scored that unbelievable goal.
Oh, mate.
To tie it up. Then they went and typical Arsenal, they went down the other end.
You know what the thing is though, Robbie? If you remember that game, when we went into extra time, if you remember, the fans were pushing the players. Yeah. Because we weren't having the greatest of games, but nobody, dropped their level on the players. The fans were still pushing and pushing. And I remember the Emirates erupted when Aubameyang scored that goal. Oh. And it was like, yes, like we haven't played great, but we've got that goal. Yes. And it was it was an advantage to play there in that respect. It was just
I've never been so deflated at a football game. Well, a long time
mate.
It's a long time since I felt like that, man.
Listen,
I mean, I was like,
if I want to remember how deflated I've ever felt, I go and watch some of your most like top 20 videos, and I think some of the worst games. Like we're in there, Liverpool away and Bayern Munich and
no, but it was I mean, I was watching that game last. I don't know if you saw that game last night, right? And it was Palace were playing Brighton, and Brighton absolutely battered. And this is like when I looked at that, I was going, it's like a warning, right? Because they battered from pillar to post. They battered Palace, yeah. Palace, all they did was defend, and then right at the end, Benteke, who normally can't hit a barn door, scores a great goal, and they win the game, right? And that's to me, I'm like, again, for every Arsenal player, that's the warning. No matter how poor Benfica may look, that's what can happen in football if you do not approach the game and you do not put those chances away. And when we got these chances this week, because they will come, I think, against Benfica.
Yeah.
We have to be clinical. We have to be clinical.
Yeah.
And we cannot do what we did last week, because that game, Brighton Palace, where Palace did nothing in the second half, got absolutely peppered, and still ended up winning the game, is an example. Is an example to Arsenal that get the job done. Be clinical, be ruthless in this game, and keep the season alive.
Well, yeah, we need to keep the season alive. And the other thing as well, I'm looking for this tiny little light at the end of the tunnel. And people are going to think I'm mad. But obviously, we got our announcement this week from the UK government as to our roadmap to freedom, shall we say. And I already feel so much better seeing a light, a little bit of a glimmer, just something, you know, from such a dark place that we've been in. And the fact that fans can return to stadiums, now obviously it might be different in other countries, but I'm hopeful that the Europa League final may have fans back in the stadium in some capacity. And it's
Poland,
like,
here we come.
Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, because this is the thing, I had to look at the time scale, right? And when we're supposed to come out of this lockdown fully and everything else, and when fans are allowed back in the stadium, is the week after the FA Cup final. And there's talk that they're going to use the FA Cup final as the test pilot, like you know, to try it out. And I sat there and thought to myself, of all the years we don't get to an FA Cup final, of all the years, why did you do it to me? And then there's talk that obviously, because we're the home team, last game of the season against Brighton, there could be 10,000 of us in the stadium. And I got people saying to me, do you really want to go and watch Arsenal at the minute, or this, that? Listen, I've been missing Arsenal for over a year. I would love nothing more than to go back to a game with my kids just one more time. Just to go in the stadium, to go and eat a disgusting burger that costs £25. Like, I just want to get the feel of it. I want the smell of it. I just want that when you walk through the turnstile and that breeze hits you and just walk in the stadium and see the carpet and just see everyone that you normally sit to and around and argue with and, you know, cuddle when there's goals and just, oh, mate, I just want to.
I can imagine you even cuddling your haters.
Mate, it's the listen.
Hey, mate,
listen. Do you know the funniest thing, right? Obviously, where I sit, my season ticket, yeah. I got people on one part of me that love the whole like thing with Wenger out, and they were there wanting to hold banners, and there's some on the left-hand side of me that were trying to rip the banners down, and they hate it, and we're rowing and everything. But when we score, we're all jumping over each other. Because in that moment, you don't care.
Football.
It's not,
exactly.
Everyone's got the same love, which is the football club. And, you know, missing it for the last year, man, and, you know, missing it with my children and stuff. And, you know, it's just something that I want to see again. And I've said it before as well. If Brighton go into that final game of the season needing to beat us to stay in the Premier League, and we relegate Brighton, and I'll tell you something, that meme of Ty will become legendary. You're a cheat, and I hope you get relegated. That will become like historic. That will go down in Premier League history. That video will get played over and over and over again if we relegated Brighton. But so yeah, if we can get to your Europa League final and we can, you know, go to Poland and get. That would be such an amazing feeling.
Well, first of all, we got to win this week. Get past Benfica, and that's not going to be an easy feat. Just before we go, DT prediction.
I'm going for a 3-1 win.
3-1?
Yeah, I think that we'll go 2-0 up. I think Benfica will score. They'll attack. We'll counter, and we'll finish it off with a third.
I'm going 3-0. 3-0.
You're all right.
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm going 3-0. We go a couple up, they get disheartened, and then we get another one late on. 3-0, we're through. Please.
Please.
Listen, this has been the AGB Extra. Remember, you can download this podcast on all your normal formats. Don't forget, Manscaped. You can get this, DT. I've got one of these for you. Cologne. It's not for downstairs, it's for upstairs, right? And it smells really, really nice. Use the link in the description. And the link is AGB, and you can get 20% off and free shipping. Do it right now. DT, thanks very much. And come on, you Arsenal. Let's get this win this week. This is huge.